on the debt ceiling crisis. There's so many different agencies and different social programs that are impacted. But I want to ask you this, as we're watching this, once again, mass shooting, are there programs right now that are in jeopardy because of the debt ceiling that are targeted on gun violence, mass shootings, targeted on trying to fix this gun crisis in the nation?
Look, to your first question, one of the things that we have called out is Republicans threatening to default, to force cuts on Social Security, to force cuts on Medicare, and that is indeed programs that could be at risk, which is why we continue to call this out, which is why we have said we should not be using this as a political football, which is why we have said that since 1960, 78 times, this has been done in a bipartisan way. And it is the basic responsibility of Congress to deal with this issue, because there are programs that are incredibly important to the American people that would be in jeopardy if this is allowed. There's a couple of validators that I just want to read out to you. Mark Zandi, Moody's Analytics, said financial markets and the economy will crater. Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary that many of you speak with, a default would be catastrophic. It would mean higher borrowing costs forever. And lastly, Wendy Elderberg from Brookings, it's playing a game with the U.S. economy and people's lives that I think is irresponsible. So yes, there are programs that will definitely be at risk if this is the direction that Republicans in the House decide to take.
So another follow-up to this, are there efforts afoot in this White House, up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, to safeguard if there is this crisis that continues to live? For instance, you talked about Social Security checks, not just Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and military checks and other items. Are you guys working on any kind of process to be a safety net so that the military can get paid, so that these checks can come out in the midst of this crisis as you're fighting about raising the debt limit that is constitutional?
So look, it's a very good question, and you're right. Veterans, seniors, our taxpayers. This is if Republicans go down this road, they will be the ones who are hurting here. We're going to continue to do what you've been seeing us do and hearing us from myself, from this president, which is call this out and say very clearly that Congress should get this done without conditions. And that's what you're going to continue to hear from us.
Are there any meetings, any conversations about Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, if this does go into that moment where checks are held
I hear your question. I'm saying there shouldn't be a Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. There should not be. This should be done without conditions. We should not be negotiating around this. This is, again, the last president under the Trump administration was done 3 times in a bipartisan way. So again, we're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to be very clear and continue to have conversation with Congress. We are talking to Congress. I talked about this last week, how the Office of Legislative Affairs has been doing outreach to new members of Congress in particular to let them know who is their point of contact, what conversations, opening up for conversations on things that are important to them. And so we are having those conversations, and we'll continue to engage with Congress. But again, this should be done without conditions. 78 times that Congress has been able to do this, and it is their basic responsibility.